Nana and Jesse Nairn. Right-handed or left-handed? There are common myths regarding hand dominance, such as people who are left-handed live on average 7 years less than people who are right-handed. Another myth is that people who are right-handed are more logical with their thinking and lefties are more creative. Since the 1960s, the percentage of lefties has grown at a consistent rate every year. We aren't here to solve these facts regarding hand dominance, but we are here to ask a simple question. The question of hand dominance percentages regarding a random population from South Brunswick High School has been an interesting topic to us because I am left-handed and John is right-handed.
We decided to ask this question because we wanted to know how many students at South were either right-handed or left-handed. We decided to take a survey of 50 students and ask them which of their hands were dominant, right or left. We discovered that 8 out of the 50 students reported as being left-handed. Our null hypothesis is P equals 0.1, and our alternative hypothesis is P is greater than 0.1. This is our null hypothesis because we estimated that 1 in 10 students or 5 in 50 students would be left-handed. To test our null hypothesis, we decided to use a 1 proportion z-test.
To first test our null hypothesis, we had to conduct our survey. We took 100 students and numbered them from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 0, 0. We then used a table of random digits and started at line 120, and then did this until 50 numbers with no repeats had been selected. After we had selected who we were going to survey, we went to each class that these students were in and asked them our question, and then tallied up our data. We found that 42 students said their right hand was dominant, and 8 students reported that their left hand was more dominant.
We used a 1 proportion z-test to test our null hypothesis. A 1 proportion z-test is ideal for this data set because there were no means or standard deviations, and there was only 1 proportion. 0.005 was our significant level for this test. Our null hypothesis is P of 0 equals 0.1, and our alternative hypothesis is P of 0 is greater than 0.1. We had to test the conditions to verify that we could continue with the test. The first condition of the 3, random, is present because our sample was taken using random procedures, such as the table of random digits. The second condition, normal, was tested by NP times 10 and N times 1 minus P times 10, which comes out to be 50 times 0.16 times 10 equals 8, and 50 times 0.84 times 10 equals 42. So we have to proceed with caution because the distribution may not be approximately normal. For our final condition, independent, this was tested by 50 is less than or equal to 1 over 10 times n. For the 1 proportion z-test, we had to use this equation, z equals 1.414. We then used our p-value of 0.078 to reject or stay consistent with our null hypothesis. We stay consistent with the null hypothesis of the proportion of students who are left-handed because the p-value exceeds 0.05.
To conclude our findings, we stayed consistent with the null hypothesis with the proportion of the population of students at South Brunswick High School because the p-value was over 0.05. Due to the p-value being higher than our significance level, we concluded that our data was consistent with our null hypothesis, which means it was not consistent with our alternative hypothesis. From our data, 16% of the students at South are left-handed, and the other 84% of the students at South are right-handed.
To add to this conclusion, if we were to do this experiment again, we would have changed our method up a little bit. We would have added the variable of people who are ambidextrous, which means they can write with both hands. However, No ambidextrous people were found in our experiment. Another addition we would make to this experiment, if we were to do it again, would be to cluster our sample with different groupings. We would try and find different races, ethnicities, and genders, and see how these were correlated compared to each other.